Welcome to Arun Educational Channel. In this blog, I would be talking about the whole story on RPC, PRC, issue of Chakma and Hajong communities and the stance of government of Arunachal Pradesh and indigenous people toward their demand. On the latest move by government of Arunachal Pradesh on July 31, 2022 has decided to suspend all residential proof certificate, that is RPC, issued in Changlang district, and also has been decided to suspend the issue of fresh residential proof certificate to Chakma and Hajongs in any place of Arunachal Pradesh. The Changlang district administration was issuing RPC to Chakmas and Hajongs since 1982, whereas there was no such directives from the Supreme Court. The order on suspension of RPC came amid growing demands and pressure from the indigenous organization. The indigenous people of Arunachal Pradesh believe that Chakmas and Hajongs are illegal migrants in Arunachal Pradesh and want them out of Arunachal Pradesh. While the Arunachal Pradesh Chakma Student Union President Drishya Muni Chakma has cried out that the latest government order was a move to destroy the future of Chakmas and Hajongs living in Arunachal Pradesh. He said that denying RPC to youths were depriving them from their basic fundamental rights such as pursuing of education, taking admission in various universities, colleges, and joining in government jobs such as paramilitary forces. In this regard, under sentiment, the Arunachal Pradesh Chakma Students Union, Arunachal Pradesh Hajong Students Union, and the people of Chakma and Hajong has decided to go for indefinite hunger strike and to launch a non-cooperation movement in Arunachal Pradesh and across Arunachal Pradesh. Unlike permanent residence certificate, RPC are temporary documents issued to a person residing in a particular place. The Chakma and Hajongs were settled in Arunachal Pradesh between 1964-1969 by Indian government. The original population was around 5,000, but at present it is said to be close to 1 lakh. Chakmas are primarily adherents of Buddhism, while Hajongs follows customs that are a mixture of Hinduism and animism. The two communities are precarious as indigenous communities are demanding their ouster from the state. Chakmas and Hajongs belonging to Tibeto-Mongoloid race were initially residents of Chittagong hill tracts of erstwhile East Pakistan. They had to flee when the Kaptai Dam project submerged their land. These people also faced religious persecution in East Pakistan, now in Bangladesh. They entered India through the then Lusai Hill district of Assam, now which is in Mizoram. Since the 1990s, the All Arunachal Pradesh Students Union, that is APSU, has demanded that the state government resettle the Chakmas and Hajongs somewhere else. APSU has spearheaded mass movements against granting citizenship to Chakmas and Hajongs. APSU defends their stance by saying that the Bengal Eastern Frontier Regulation of 1873 and Chin Hill Regulation Act of 1896 protects the tribals and their rights. APSU has also mentioned that they are not against granting Indian citizenship for Chakmas and Hajongs, but they are of firm stand that they cannot settle refugees in Arunachal Pradesh. They fear that the refugees could soon outnumber their population, creating an economic imbalance and influencing electoral outcomes. According to the Bengal Eastern Frontier Regulation Act 1873, the British framed regulation that restricted the entry and regulated the stay of outsiders in designated areas. Also, for inward travel into any of the protected or restricted areas, the foreigners are required to obtain an inner line permit. Also, under Protected Areas Order of 1958, outsiders are prohibited from acquiring land in these tribal areas. According to Suhas Chakma, the founder of Chakma Development Foundation of India, the Chakmas and Hajongs came from undivided India like thousands of other refugees since the partition of India. The Chakmas and Hajongs were permanently settled by the Union of India, the relevant competent authority of then NEPA, during 1964-1969. The Bengal Eastern Frontier Regulation provides that the inner line permit has to be issued by Deputy Commissioner, a servant of relevant competent authority. Since the employer of the Deputy Commissioner, that is Union of India, had governed the permission for their permanent settlement, the BEFR does not apply to those who migrated during 1964-1968. Also, he mentioned that inner line permit applies to those who are an outsider and seeking to visit the areas that fall under the BEFR, but it does not and can never be applied to those who are born inside it. That is, almost 95% of Chakmas and Hajongs are born in Nepal or in Arunachal Pradesh. He also mentioned that there is no specific law recognizing the tribals and mentioned that the Chakmas and Hajongs in Assam, Mizoram, Meghalaya, Tripura and the West Bengal were recognized as scheduled tribes based on these criteria under the Constitution of Scheduled Tribes Order 1950. Meanwhile, the Chief Minister of the state, Pema Khandu, in his recent address to the people of the state on the 75th Independence Day, said that all illegal immigrant Chakmas and Hajongs will be moved and settled in some other places with honor as per the Constitution. Chakmas Development Foundation of India asserts that the Chakma and Hajong migrants had submitted their citizenship application under Section 5 of the 1955 Citizenship Act. The Chakmas and Hajongs disagree with the decision made by the government and have decided not to move anywhere, declaring Arunachal Pradesh as their birth state. While Supreme Court of India in its judgment on January 9, 1996 stated that the state of Arunachal Pradesh shall ensure the life and personal liberty of every Chakma residing within the state, also ordered for protection from any attempt to forcibly evict or drive them out of the state by any organized group such as the APSU, if necessary by requisitioning the service of paramilitary or police force as is necessary to protect the lives and liberty of the Chakmas. The state had seen a devastating protest on February 21, 2019 from the indigenous people during the permanent residential certificate issue when the state government constituted a joint high-power committee to approve permanent residential certificate, that is PRC, to 6 minor communities. The non-APST communities like Adivasi, Deori, Ahom, Kacharis, Missing, Moran, Nepalese and Karbi etc. residing in Lekang under Namsai Circle, Vijayanagar of Changlang district were to be granted the permanent residential certificate. Shortly after the announcement, violent protest broke out against this policy and the PRC process was put on hold. The protest resulted in the death of 3 protesters and considerable losses to public and private property. The Chakma and Hajong issue is like a time bomb that the state is unable to defuse. On the one hand, the indigenous people's fear about the demographic change persists. On the other hand, people who have resided in Arunachal Pradesh for a long time now face the prospect of being made homeless.